Hey, Kenny, great to catch up with you today. Really looking forward to kind of hearing more about your journey and some
Yeah.
of your insights, and to get some of those lessons for a lot of entrepreneurs
Yeah,
out
thanks for
there.
having me.
That's cool. So maybe you can just tell us a little bit about like my bricks.
Sure. Yeah.
Why the business was started. What was the opportunity you sort of saw, and share about where you are at on your
Yeah.
journey right now.
Sure. So the company that I founded is called Light My Bricks,
Yeah.
and I started this whole thing 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a thing that started purely off passion.
Yeah.
And what Light My Bricks is, for those who don't know, is we're a lighting company, but we're not your traditional lighting company. When people hear
Special
about Light My
lighting.
Bricks, they
Yeah.
think industrial lighting for like
Are you going on the side of
homes.
houses or things like that?
We call it miniature housing.
Okay.
Well, when I say miniature housing, it's out of Lego. So
Wow.
think about the Lego product and Lego enthusiasts. What we do is we sell products that allow consumers to install lights to their Lego displays.
Okay, so it's another thing that could be on my lounge room floor for me to step on.
Yes, definitely. Well, hopefully it won't be something that you step on, because a lot of times when people hear about Like My Bricks, they think, oh, my kids would love it. Schools would love it, that kind of thing. But the funny thing is, our product is really, really catered to adult consumers.
Okay,
So
cool.
myself, like people that that love Lego so much that they build it and display, they collect it, that kind of thing.
Cool.
Kids, when they build and play with Lego, they literally play with Lego. So they build, destroy. It ends up on the floor, and that's why you end up stepping on it.
Yeah.
Like My Bricks is for those adult consumers or people who really they take pride in what they're creating.
Yeah.
They build it and they put it on the display.
Okay, cool.
So that whole idea basically came from...
Yeah, when did you... Tell us about that.
It's an interesting story, but it's also quite a common journey for a lot of adult fans of Lego. They call it AFOL, so Adult Fan of Lego.
Okay.
So the Lego community, they love the acronyms. And what that is basically me... Like you love Lego when you're a kid.
Yep.
And then you grow up and we call it the dark ages of your Lego kind of journey. And then
so you're telling me there's a Lego persona, there's a Lego life journey.
A lot of Lego fans will be able to understand and relate to this. But what it is basically you forget about Lego, you experience life, and then you or have a family and you have kids, and then you naturally
it's back.
You buy Lego for your kids, and then you realize how damn cool it is. You forgot how cool it was, and that's when you kind of go down this rabbit hole of getting into Lego again as an adult. So the excuse is you buy Lego for the kids, but really you're buying it for yourself. Yeah,
it's sort of like if you're turning up with some big figurine or something from Star Wars, it's probably not really the right thing for your one-year-old. Your wife is looking at you going, I know who that's for.
That's right. Lego sets are getting more and more expensive, and it's not for the kids, it's for the adult consumer.
Yeah, okay.
So that's how it kind of ignited my...
So you came back to it. And when was, pardon the pun, the light bulb moment go off?
The light bulb moment happened when I started buying a lot of Lego and spending hundreds, if not thousands, on it. Had a young family, had a mortgage to pay, and you naturally start having heated arguments with your spouse on how much Lego
Feels like what others might be arguing about, like cycling if they find, those man passions or those adult passions.
Yeah. And for me at the time, I'm like, how do I buy more Lego guilt-free? How do I, win these arguments with my spouse on how much I'm spending?
Yeah.
Start a business, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Start a business.
So this is a business where we can make a living out of it.
Well, really, it was a cheeky way for me to buy more Lego. And at the time, I didn't know too much about like tax write-offs. I just assumed, if you have a tax write-off, that means you're getting it for free. That's my misconception back in the day. But I started this business, but how I started it was because I loved Lego so much, I was displaying it, especially buildings. Like I love buildings, and you see it on your shelf, and I was like,
there's no lights.
There's no lights. Why? Why am I not putting lights in it? Then you naturally start thinking about lights and Googling it, and there's nothing out there. There are things out there, but it's very much like you have to be some kind of electrician, or you have to know about electronics to be able to do it yourself, like very DIY, like get out the soldering iron and drill holes and all that kind of thing. I didn't want to do that because I've spent so much money on Lego. I don't want to alter the design. I want to drill it. I don't want to take it apart. I just, you know what I mean?
Something that actually is integrated as part of the.
That's right. So
so Lego themselves, or
no, they don't do it, right? And no one else was doing it at the time. So I just was like, I'm just going to try and do it for myself. Trying to solve my own problem, really. That's what it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, what did you like? How did you do that? I mean, it's an amazing idea.
Yeah. Well,
you must have reached like. Surely somebody else is out there doing that. How much time do I spend on that?
That's right.
Could I just blow up things?
Yeah. At the time, the only solution was to do it yourself, and like I said, drill and get all fiddly with electronics. But I wanted to. I guess I love the Lego experience so much in terms of the product experience.
Yeah.
Following instructions. If you think about Lego, Lego is just a bunch of bricks, right? And you don't know how to actually create something, but the way you create is following the instructions. So if you think about a Lego set, strip out all the packaging, the marketing, the nice photos. Yeah. It's just a bunch of bricks. But you're following instructions to create something.
Yeah.
That's how I viewed lights and electronics. And I wanted that experience.
Okay,
right?
so you started to think about the process of that, the enjoyment of that. So it's just another lame way of fulfillment.
I don't have any of those skills in terms of electronics, but I knew that I wanted to create some kind of system that I could just plug and play kind of thing and follow instructions to create a lighting circuit. So that's how my brain was working at the time. And I basically just sought out small componentry that I could get that was small enough to fit inside Lego. The wires being small enough to fit in between bricks and all that kind of thing. So you were
building your own prototype.
But really I just wanted to do it for myself. But that's how I wanted to, I guess, do it for all my sets. Right. So I went on this journey of just sourcing from just like Alibaba and AliExpress and all that kind of thing, finding tiny electronics, but speaking with manufacturers on, for example, give me this wire and put it onto like a hub, then put like ports on it and make sure it's this tiny. Yeah. And I was just basically testing on how I could actually fit it inside my Lego set.
So your skill, you're not an electrician, you're not a lighting guy or anything.
I just wanted to install lights, but I was just, the way I look at it is you're shrinking yourself as a mini electrician and you're thinking about how I'd wire up a house. How you'd open up a light fixture and put a little bulb in it. So that's how that whole thing started. And that's how I was able to, I guess, put lights in my own Lego.
How long were you going through this process for in the early days?
This wasn't that long. This is probably like a 2-3 month period.
Okay.
It was pretty quick.
Quite exciting. I thought you were about to say I was doing this for a year and then something happened.
Because when I'm really into something, and I guess like a lot of other people, you won't stop at anything. You'll just be researching all night. You'll be talking to manufacturers. You'll be ordering stuff. And I want things now. Like, how do I get it as quickly as possible? That kind of thing. And
you probably weren't at the time thinking how big the Lego market is and how there's probably hundreds of thousands, millions of people who are passionate about the very same thing that you're passionate about, but you're looking at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, to be honest, I think how I knew that this was going to be, that was potential here was because I was that crazy guy spending so much money on Lego, right?
Yeah.
I knew that I wasn't the only crazy guy out there spending that much money.
And is there an acronym for crazy Lego guys?
What we call it is AFOL. It's Adult Fan of Lego, right? But I knew this because I was part of like online Lego forums, Facebook groups, Reddit. Yeah. People were just showing off all their Lego collections and I was like, lights. And I was telling my wife, you think I'm crazy? Look at this. Look at these mad guys that are, have a whole room just full of Lego and like big cities, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So then I knew that if I'm wanting to make my Lego sets look 10 times cooler with lights, how many other people are doing the same thing?
There's got to be some,
right? Because people were posting stuff. They would post, check out my creation, check out this section of my Lego city, and then people are like, how do you do this? How do you do that?
Yeah.
And that's what happened with me with lights. So once I did it for my own collection, I started posting images. People were like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Okay. And that's how I knew that this was
starting to.
That's right. Yeah.
And so you're having people inquire and ask you about like, how do I want to?
Well, I was basically flexing it and going, check out how cool this Lego collection looks. And then people are like, whoa, how do you do that? How do you do that? And I'm like, well, you could hit me up and this is what you can buy. So
when did you start to monetize that, or how were you thinking about that, turning that into
a few
business?
things.
Because you can kind of sit in a passion lane way there for a little while.
Yeah. So I think as soon as I lit my first Lego set, I knew that I was like, I don't know if I can swear on this thing, but I was like,
yeah, you can say
holy
whatever
shit,
you like.
this looks amazing. And I was just like, I knew that this is, I saw the vision of what this could be right there and then. The moment I turned the lights on, basically on this Lego model. And then for me, I was really into.
Did your wife see the same thing, or she was like?
Oh, look, she was just like, I mean, he's spending money. He's spending more money on lights. Like, just let him be.
It's okay. Yeah.
She liked the look of it.
Yeah.
If anything, actually, like she liked like Lego buildings, that kind of thing. But then she did admit with the lights, yes, it does look a lot nicer. And she was like, oh.
I guess I'm trying to test out that validation phase where you go, I've done something, or other people like it. So
yeah. And then I was very, I loved to consume content back then. Like I was on social media a lot, and I knew that this was the fastest way to, I guess, put the product out there and put the idea out there through social media. Yep. So that was a huge thing for me, posting a lot of lights on, lights off kind of content in video, on images and back then, like hashtagging was a real big thing.
Yes.
And then people just...
I'm old, I still do it. And my kids, I go, oh man.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I did. And that's how I get traction. Yeah. That's how I built out like a lot of my bricks channel, and people were starting to see what that was. Right. So I knew from an early stage that content was huge, and content was the fastest way to get, I guess, cut through and reach audience.
Yeah.
Then
you're building brands straight off the
away.
bat.
That's
and
right.
then was it Like My Bricks? Was it there was a brand there that
No, it was Like My Bricks. And the way I saw it was, I knew how important, I guess, experience was, customer experience.
Yeah.
So I've always cared about top-notch customer service, everything from like customer service in terms of like, support as well as packaging, shipping, website. I cared a lot about that.
Everything that was going into those ingredients around the Like My Bricks
because
brand.
when you love a product so much, like you love everything about the product. You love the packaging. Like, the moment you open something, it's like that feeling you get. And I wanted others to experience that. Yeah. So really, Like My Bricks at the time, if you took out all the packaging and all the instructions, they just look like raw components. They don't look very appealing. They look intimidating.
But you were building brand and customer experience off the back of that,
and
which is very clever.
And just perception of quality as well.
Yeah.
But back in the day, like our parts just looked, like I said, looked very intimidating, raw, but I had to find a way to package it really nicely. So
so you're just taking orders over social media, or did you build a website?
No, I built a website.
Yeah, okay.
Shopify. So this was back in the day.
When was
this was 2016.
Yeah.
2016 era. Yeah. And the Shopify was there, but there were other
that we're
bands.
talking about eras now, and they're like in 10 years.
Make you feel old.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shopify was the easiest way for me to make a website. It's even easier now.
Yeah.
Like anyone, I mean, with AI and all that kind of thing, you can make a website just like that.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed like creating my own website with templates and all that kind of thing. And because our product is so visual, like as soon as you see it, you kind of get what it is. And so it was all about making a really nice website and putting the product out there. But the product wasn't just the physical product. The product for us, just like Lego, a big part of that product is that experience, and that's the instructions and making the instructions.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, like if you think about Lego, if you buy a Lego set, you won't be able to make that product without the instructions.
But it is unique because it comes in the cardboard box and it's got the pictures, and you open it up and there's the crinkly cellophane and there's all the packets and then the instructions
so
are there.
For the Like My Bricks product, the instructions was just important, but the instructions was all done digital. So a lot of that was me almost making like a diary or a visual tutorial on how to install the lights. Yeah. That's the biggest I guess, daunting kind of factor on a new customer when they think about lighting. They think, can anyone do it? How hard is it? I don't have electronics experience
for the customer. Right?
It's real step-by-step hand-holding. And then once someone experience it once, they're like, I'm a lighting pro now. I know what to do. And you know.
So how did you start to scale that, or what was some of the challenge? Like, because at this stage you're still doing this on your own. Did you go and get help from someone? You've got to get parts in. You've got to start putting that together. So tell us about that next little piece, because that must have been quite challenging to move from almost a micro business to.
That's right. Yeah. So obviously I did. I was the one-man band at the time.
Yeah.
But that's when I start bringing in, luckily I'm very fortunate, my wife has a big family, a lot of uncles, aunties.
Yeah,
and every Sunday for
family,
lunch.
friends. And, right?
Just family, really. Every Sunday lunch would have lunch and clear this big round table.
Wow.
And everyone would gather around and either test components or help pack components.
Oh.
And what it was the way we are able to scale it so quickly is because every product is basically a composition of lots of different components, just like Lego, right?
Yeah.
Like every product might have 4 of these lights, 2 of these hubs, 1 of this cable. But
you're not matching them to a Lego set. You're making them like
We are. So, for example, if there was a Lego Ford Mustang, we are making a product for the Ford Mustang. It's like custom light kits. I should have said that before. They're custom light kits.
Yeah, okay.
So you're not just buying lights and just figuring it out yourself. You're buying lights that are specific for that model that you want to install lights for.
You sort of have to mirror or match the Lego product range.
So how it works, pretty much. Wow. And at the time,
So you're in the kitchen starting to put all these things together.
Literally in the kitchen, yeah.
Okay.
Like in my kitchen, there's a little table and I would have like a black drop sheet and take photos of the whole process. Lego Ford Mustang, that's one kit. That's one product.
Yeah.
A Star Wars Millennium Falcon, that's one product.
Wow.
And every product is a step-by-step process using X amount of lights here, X amount of cables, depending on that model.
Wow.
So it's very, very specific.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, just buy our light pack and you just figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
It's not. It's very much the step-by-step tailored, just like Lego, right? Lego do have generic boxes where
it does build
a
bit of a moat into your business, though, if you're prepared to go across every product, every type, every range.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It gets harder to replicate.
That's right. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
But over time, we've understood or learnt what products sell the best and who are the best. When at the beginning, you don't really know who your customer is. Well, I didn't know who my exact customer is.
I wanted to lean into that because you think the customer is maybe you because that's what you're doing.
Well, you want to try and market to everybody.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you're trying to market to everybody,
So how'd you go about that?
Yeah.
Or what was your?
So at the start, I would just light up anything, right?
Yeah.
Anything that I started with the ones that I love the most, and buildings. It's like when I say buildings, I'm talking about like your more expensive, bigger, detailed models that are display worthy. That's how I call it.
Yeah.
They're not the Lego sets.
What's an example of a building there?
Lego have like a line, so they have all these different categories. They've got like Lego Star Wars, they'll have Lego Speed Champions, Lego City, Lego Friends. They've just got all these different categories, and they're all for different markets. Some for kids, some for small kids, some for big kids, that kind of thing.
Go to the adult market, larger stuff.
Well, back then there wasn't an adult line. There wasn't, because it wasn't. This was prior to Lego. Lego actually shifted their direction as well, and then they started catering more to the adult consumers. But back then it was just like big kids Lego. And that's why, when I did this 10 years ago, if you were an adult fan of Lego, you were pretty much a weirdo, you were a nerd, you were a...
Oh, man.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it was like, you're a big kid playing with Lego. It's like, oh, he's the guy in the basement that's just like playing with Lego kind of thing.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's like, because of the rise in adult-focused sets, you're almost like a cool nerd now. It's like, it's so accepted. Like, there's more and more adults getting into Lego.
Lots of stuff. Yeah, Pokemon and all those sorts of things.
Exactly,
There's different niche things that you think are niche that are actually quite big.
That's right. Yeah. So back then, when I was deciding what light kits to install lights for, it'll be those sets that I would consider display worthy. Not so much the sets that have that playability. You can pull it apart, you can rebuild it. It wasn't those, because if you put lighting in that, it's just you don't. Yeah, it'll be too hard. So I'll just naturally do lighting kits for buildings, supercars, anything that are big and display worthy.
Yeah.
I would experiment and install lights for some, call it play sets or sets that are, maybe more kid friendly. And I realized after putting all the time and effort into it, they just don't sell.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how I started to really understand. And obviously over time you get sales data. You'll be like, oh, this set is selling like these are the most popular items.
Yeah.
And you start focusing on that kind of category.
Because it's a new product. There is no market testing. So it's a bit of a test and trial thing.
That's right. And it's very much test and trial. I think even nowadays we are a lot better at choosing what sets or prioritizing which sets that we design lighting for. But there'll still be one that just doesn't do as well. Then there'll be
so is it data or intuition?
Data. It's all data now. We use data to help us prioritize the type of customer we're targeting.
Yeah.
But every now and then there will be one that we thought would be a hit, and it just doesn't do well.
Okay.
And there's others that we didn't think would be a hit, and it's just gone crazy, and it really surprised us. So we're still learning it, but we have a much better idea on who our
so
is.
So I want to take you back, because I'm trying to imagine how you go from having a black tablecloth on a table, and it's maybe Saturday or Sunday, and your family have come around, and
they're helping us.
I guess you're assembling things and you're putting them maybe into packaging or whatever. So when did the business, or how did the business come out of the kitchen or out of the lounge room or out of the house? And what was that sort of decision? Or that must have felt like a risky period, because at that stage are you starting to kind of think about, well, what's my day job?
Yes.
And what's my side?
How I balance it. Yeah. I hated my day job, that's for sure. And back then when I started the business, I was juggling both.
Yeah.
And that was a really I wouldn't say tough time, but it's a very challenging time, because you want to dedicate everything you have and all the time you have onto your business. I believed in the business after things, especially when things got a bit of momentum. Money was coming in. We were selling a lot. I was like, oh, if only this was my day job.
Yeah.
The fortunate thing about me at that time is within, I would say 6 to 12 months, I started making more money in sales than I was in my day job.
Okay. So it became an easy.
It was fast, and all I wanted to do was just to quit. But then there's always a little thing in the back of your mind, right?
Like there's risk.
Because I worked in IT.
Did you have family? You were married? You had kids at that stage?
I had 2 kids.
Mortgage?
Yes, mortgage, single income. My wife wasn't working, and I had a pretty stable job in IT.
Yeah.
Paid well, it was cruisy. Mum and dad were like, you've hit the jackpot. You've got your mortgage, everything. Yes.
Just live. Just grow old now.
Whereas I'm like, I am not completely satisfied, because I've always yearned to be my own boss and to create something. And I was on, I had this momentum. I was, in terms of sales, we were making more money than I was in my day job, and all I wanted to do was quit. But then there's part of you that's like, I got to be responsible. I'm at the time, because it was so new, it's still this thing that's like, you're making a product. Your business is centered around Lego.
Yeah.
It's lighting. It's this fun thing, because I was having so much fun.
Yeah.
Really, how much money, how sustainable can this be?
Yeah.
And the thought of not having that stability in your day job, that was what was holding me back.
How did you jump? How did you break through that?
I think I went back to, I almost didn't start this business in the first place because of that same reason.
Yeah.
What will my friends think? What will my family think?
Yeah.
What will my, let alone, single income, mortgage, kids, irresponsibility, all this stuff.
It's kind of what makes entrepreneurship so unique, because there's not a lot of people actually that are telling you that this is a good idea, right. Kenny. Like, go do this.
I know. I am risky in a sense, but the fact that no one else is doing it really, really, made it hard for me to make that leap and actually start. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are in that same boat.
Yeah.
They will look for validation
Yeah.
by seeing who else is doing it. And if someone else is doing it, okay, I feel better about doing it.
It's already gone though.
That's
it's
it.
Be cooked.
The more unique your idea is, the more successful it would be, and therefore it won't be out there already. So no one was doing it. So
what did you do? Did you math it out? Did you write it down? Did you talk to your wife? Did you just go stuff it?
That you kind of. I was like, I was so passionate about Lego. I loved it so much to a point where I was like, it took over everything, and all I wanted to do was to build and display and create something centered around that. I had to really just lean into that to essentially break out of my thinking or break out of my so-called box.
Limiting beliefs.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that already allowed me to just start.
Yeah.
And if I think back then, if I hadn't have done that, then I wouldn't have had this life that I have now, right?
Yeah.
But I went back to that kind of thinking before I decided to quit.
Yeah.
I did think about, all right, if I hadn't have started, then I wouldn't have been able to validate. I wouldn't have able to, get momentum in this business.
Yeah.
Therefore, I wouldn't have started. So I saw this as the next challenge to imagine if I did this, imagine if I took that leap of faith, what else could I achieve?
Yeah.
It's almost like your ceiling gets pushed higher and higher, know?
No, there's a saying in my family, like we try and say the risk takers get the rewards, right? The rewards no risk, no rewards.
Yeah.
You've got to take some risk.
That's right. And
so you jumped.
I jumped. Yeah, definitely jumped. Took that leap of faith, but that was a huge unlock for me because it's like, you got your 9 to 5. So all that time, you can't be working on your business. Now I have all that.
Yeah.
And that's when things really started to take off.
So how did you move out of the kitchen and the lounge room and the family? And
when
what did you do?
Did that full time, I started to see a lot more products out in the market. So for me, back then, the more time I had, the more products I could create.
Yeah.
The more products I could create, the more income in terms of business income and exposure and customers that I would be able to acquire.
Yeah.
I just ran out of room in my home.
Yep.
I've got photos as well of back then. My 2 poor kids. You see the living room.
Episode of those hoarder shows.
There's just stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Boxes, products, lights, Lego sets everywhere.
Yeah.
And because I was already full-time into it, I was able to model out, all right, I actually can afford to take out a lease.
So you started to math the business out and put some structure around it.
And I did have someone who helped me with that.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with numbers.
Yeah.
I'm not a maths guy. I'm not an Excel guy. But I had someone who was good at that and could help me map out some kind of, foundation.
Yep.
And that allowed me to go, oh, okay, I can actually do this.
Yep.
So that's when I took the lease on my small little warehouse, and that was when I was able to move everything into that.
Okay.
And then from there, had dedicated a studio space, dedicated area to pack, and that was a big milestone for me because you're moving from your home where everything is chaotic to an actual dedicated space. And then from there, you're able to employ staff and build and continue to ride that momentum.
So I have one question. Is there a point along this journey that I'm wondering, does Lego turn around and go, hey man, there's somebody over here actually is playing in our space and they're doing stuff that maybe we should be doing that must have been in your mind somewhere.
Always. I think
maybe it still is or maybe not.
Well, I loved Lego so much and it was always a dream. And you start becoming, I would say you can't become better at envisioning things and setting up good kind of goals that, back in the day, if you set that goal, you're crazy. But now it's like you start to, I don't know, almost manifest or believe so much because you continue to ride that momentum of overcoming your limiting belief and pushing your ceiling higher and higher.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was like, oh, it'd be so good if Lego start noticing us. And then within a few months, Lego start contacting us and they're like, hey, we like what you do. We want to dig into this a bit more.
So is this a turning point?
This was a turning point. This was prior to COVID. This was 2017, 18.
Okay, so turning points are you getting over your limiting beliefs, starting to move the business out, take the risk, get a little bit of advice, and then
Lego
big brother or big sister turns up and says, we like what you're doing.
Yeah, so that was a huge moment where Lego actually said, hey, we want to come out and fly out from Denmark and spend a few days with you guys and get to know your business and understand the market and the potentials and the possibilities and all that kind of thing. So,
okay, what do you think?
That happened. I'm just like, I made it. Like I was like, this is
really? You weren't thinking they're going to come in and lift my stuff?
Not so much, no.
They're not going to light my bricks. They're going to lift my stuff, right?
I think I was just so blown away that I actually had caught the attention of Lego.
Okay. Yep.
And then they came out and they basically said, hey, we want to create a lighting product with you.
Okay.
So that was huge for me. Not just that, I think I've always wanted to make our product as best as possible.
Yeah.
And at the time, I mentioned that our products looked like raw components. So it was basically pretty much off-the-shelf products that I would use to make work with Lego.
Yeah.
They weren't designed specifically for Lego.
Yeah.
Also, at the time, we started attracting a lot of competitors. They started copying our products.
Yeah.
Easy to copy because the product is just market-available things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always wanted to make the product better. I always wanted to redevelop it almost.
Yeah.
And the perfect timing with Lego were like, we want to make this product better.
So you were
we
sort
want to
of
make
a
Lego
little
product.
mini crossroads moment to go, okay, I can kind of keep doing this, but how am I going to fulfill the vision of what I want to do?
So Lego came on board and said, we want to create this product with you. It's a 2-year project. Let's do it kind of thing.
And did they help fund that for you?
Well, I said I wanted to fund it. Well, they didn't say they wanted to fund it, but I knew that I better fund this myself because what happens if something went wrong? I don't own it. Yeah. I wanted to own it, so it's probably a smart decision I made to pay for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. At the time, they said, look, there'll be some hurdles, there'll be some challenges. I'm like, surely, this is a no-brainer.
2 years. I'm get this stuff done in 3 months.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But boy, it was a challenging project. Lots of hurdles. Lego is such a big company. It's hard for certain decisions to be made. Yeah. Sometimes we had to pivot a lot. It was just it was a good learning experience, but it was very, very challenging.
So did this consume or become the main focus of the business, your partnership with Lego?
Yeah,
because it would have consumed a lot of what you would do.
Yeah, it definitely
did. There's a big opportunity cost there.
I was still, the company was still growing. We were still creating products and servicing that. But yes, this was a very big chunk of my time. But long story short, after the 2-year period, we just couldn't get enough, approvals in place. We couldn't get enough, decision making done.
And it was different.
Yeah, and this team we were working for, they were also contracted.
Yeah.
And it just the time came up, and their contracts didn't get renewed, and so all the team of, I think it was 3 or 4 staff that we were working for, their roles just got disbanded. Some of them went to other areas. Some of them left the company.
So you got to the end of 2 years now and you've got like zero
really zero solid. Yeah, in a way. But we had developed this product, right?
Okay.
It was almost there. And thankfully, Lego gave us full permission because I had funded the whole thing. They gave us permission to bring that market to life ourselves. Yeah. And that's what we did.
And was it a particular product? How would you describe it to a learning adult fan of Lego?
Okay, so the old version of our product looked like parts out of a computer. If you take out you take the cover off of a computer, you see all these wires and circuits. Yeah. That's what it kind of looked like. Yeah. Obviously, we packaged it in a neat professional way. The new iteration of our products are designed specifically for Lego. Yeah. No exposed circuits. It doesn't look like inside of a computer part. They look more like they would look more like an Apple product in a way. Okay, like so you look at it and you're like, this is like the hubs were like brick compatible. They clutch onto the Lego studs as opposed to our old circuits that just kind of, you had to stick them down somewhere, use tape almost. So we actually launched this new product to market as a 2.0. Yeah. And, that was
another lever of growth for the business.
Definitely. And that's, again, something that really set us apart from our competitors.
Yeah.
A much better product to use. Our customers that have been with us prior to that, they were like, wow, this is so much better. Yeah. This is solving more problems for me. Yeah. And that was my mission complete in a way that I wanted to just make the product better.
Yep.
And when I say complete, I say that like,
I was going to say,
lightly, because the product can always be better and better. And I think I've always adapted that kind of motto that you can always improve, and your product is never perfect. You can always get better and better.
Yeah.
And how to always do that, how to always make the experience better, how to make the product better. That's just something that's just always kind of instilled in me.
So around this time, you must have been started to creep into the COVID.
Yes, this was
period. So
we hadn't. No, sorry. When it was a 2-year project.
Yep.
And COVID was right in the middle of it.
Okay.
And we started to see exponential growth during that period with our current phase. So we hadn't launched that product yet.
Yeah.
Because after that 2-year project, we actually had spent another 2.5 years, pretty much 3 years, continue to develop it even further.
So you funded the business yourself through all of that, sort of bootstrapped it.
Yes.
Didn't take on any external share.
No. The business was bootstrapped ourselves. Off 10 grand basically.
Yeah, okay.
And that 10 grand was used to buy components.
Yep.
And that's all we ever spent. I never got, I never got funding from anybody or anything like that, because that 10 grand was able to easily validate the market and easily able to, when I say easily, it was quick to validate, because once I spent that money, that money was just spent on the product itself and packaging and getting that product to market.
Yeah. So were there any sort of key call-outs? So you've gone from passion, idea, kitchen table business, micro business, out into your own, then got a big behemoth, and then you've relaunched.
Yeah.
If there was something that somebody was sort of going on that little journey themselves,
there's definitely been heaps of ups and downs, peaks and troughs. We're a retail business in a way, so it's like quite seasonal.
Yeah.
But I would say the biggest kind of turning point was that COVID period.
Yeah. Okay.
If I go back to when that was, like 2018 or wherever it was, it's like it was
2020, I reckon.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I had quit my full-time job, took a lease on the business, on the warehouse, started hiring people. Things were going really well.
Yeah.
And then COVID hits.
Yeah.
And it's like all the rules were changing, and I was just thinking all these, again, limiting beliefs, all these negative thoughts
creeping in.
We can't work. We can't go to work. We can't pay staff. I'm going to have to quit everything and close up shop. But I mentioned before our content strategy.
Yeah.
Making content, double downing on it.
Yeah.
Paid media, that kind of thing.
We did that in that period as well for our business. It was actually like, our founder Pete talks about that as sort of like the next phase of our brand, because it provided a unique opportunity to get out there in the marketplace and be talking to your clients or your target customer about what you do and how you can help.
Yeah. For us, it was the biggest unlock for COVID, through COVID.
Okay.
It was the biggest unlock to get us, I guess, our product to market and get that cut through initially.
Yeah.
And I'd always want to make sure our product was captured, and then social media content, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But through COVID, it's like we couldn't come into work, but we could work from home.
Yeah.
And you can create content anywhere.
Yeah.
And so I just basically doubled down on that.
Yep.
Created content, more content, pumped more money into digital advertising.
Yep.
And the interesting thing, and with COVID, countries started going into lockdown.
Yeah.
People were confined to their homes.
They want to play with some Lego, maybe.
That's right. All right. They started getting into Lego, puzzles. So they started buying Lego online. And the next thing you know, they started seeing ads from Like My Bricks and seeing content on social media. And they're like, well, how do I make my Lego look better?
So there was another wave of growth coming through.
That was a huge wave of growth.
So tell us about you must have experienced some scaling problems or challenges.
What are some
of the problems that kind of, not to bring back your trauma or stress from that period?
But it was good stress. I think it was stress. But it was just like a huge unlock. And
so you're having to manufacture from home because you're not going to work?
So everything was manufactured through China. And because our product is small, it's easy to scale and everything's air freight.
Yep.
It's not, they had issues with sea and sea freight and all that kind of thing during that COVID time. Planes, not so much. So deliveries, because of online orders and all that kind of thing, like everything kept going. And so we were very fortunate to not have any production issues there.
Yeah.
For us, it was just how do we get the orders out? So everything was being serviced. But, there were rules about click and collect, and we fell through that kind of fine area where we could still service that.
Yeah.
But it was just amazing to see the growth. First, it was Europe, because Europe went into lockdown first. Then it was US, and then Australia.
Yeah.
But so
you're having to hire more people?
No, we just had to do we just had to work extra. We did have a team at the time.
Yeah.
But I remember that time we just basically went from, we basically 4x'd our business in that short amount of time.
Yeah.
So what started as our biggest kind of hurdle or our biggest fear, and on almost to a point where I was like, we better close up shop, that just turned into our like a huge triumph for us.
Wow.
And not just that, it really validated that, not just validate, sorry, I knew that the product was validated, but it really, really solidified that, after triumphing COVID, that, it's unlocking that next stage of growth and validation, knowing that.
So as you've scaled and triumphed through COVID, surely your role in the business, it must have changed a lot. So as a founder, how have you managed or leaned into that experience and of building, the right team around you and putting some structure in place?
I've gone through different stages, I would say.
Yep.
I think, as you start, you're doing everything. You're stretched so thin.
Yep.
You're doing everything from admin to customer support to packing orders to design, everything.
Yeah.
And then that just leads to burnout quite quickly.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point where you'd have to let go. So I start letting go on the things that I can find someone else to do.
Yeah.
And then, so once you do that, you're obviously freeing up more time for you to do the high level tasks that really shift the needle.
Yeah. So it's starting to take yourself.
Yeah. So I think, but it's hard because the business is your baby. It's really hard to let go, but you have to learn how to do that. And that's a big unlock for you.
Yeah.
Then it's starting to understand who are the people that you need to bring on that may be better at doing that specific thing.
Yeah.
Such as finance. Like I said before, I hate finance. I'm bad with numbers. You need to get that right.
Yeah.
Even to marketing, I'm great at selling my own product because I know the product best. But then there's just little marketing kind of strategies that you need to put in place.
Yeah.
Operations and understanding all that. So for me, as I started to let go of these different areas,
functions in the business,
it starts freeing yourself up.
Yeah.
And not just like it's just good for for your mind and having that clarity that everything you're working on is purposeful.
Yeah.
And it is shifting the business forward rather than getting tied down.
Yeah.
Right.
And how's that gone for you?
Oh, it's gone great. Look, it's been up and down.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like
the biggest.
If you've managed to put together the perfect management team first,
it never works.
Yeah, I was going to say
think
the reality
it's a bigger
of that
misconception.
Is quite different.
And I've had to learn. And I think embracing failures has been a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's even now, like I'm still learning, you're still making mistakes, but it's really important to embrace that and learn from that.
Yeah.
A quick example is that a year and a half ago, I wanted to let go completely by bringing on a general manager to take care of the day-to-day and to free me up. Yeah. And I thought that I just find a general manager and all my problems will be solved. I learned quickly that you learn how to hire the right people or how to hire better over time.
Yep.
So I guess the mistakes I made were letting go too quickly and not being across the right metrics to,
and things can get out of control quite quickly.
That's right. So I had to learn, I guess, a difficult way or a hard way.
Yep.
And I guess basically, my general manager at the time didn't have the right direction from me, so I take full ownership of it. And you have to take ownership over everything. I think the buck stops with you.
Yeah.
So I had to basically come back in and take control and I guess set up the right things to propel the business forward into a more profitable state.
Yeah,
so we weren't profitable.
Role clarity and a stage withdrawal.
Yeah,
then.
yeah. And I think even now I'm still learning on what are the right, I guess, structures to put in place. So I think that's really important to keep learning as you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so it's been an amazing opportunity to talk to you and hear your story and learn. I don't know, is there any sort of last parting words, not parting words. Sounds like you're not leaving us. You're on a journey, but you've really achieved a lot to this stage. Any sort of call outs or pieces of advice for anybody who might be kind of maybe in the kitchen thinking about their business idea?
Yeah, a few things. I would probably say the biggest thing is don't look for validation.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest thing. Back yourself and believe. Don't look for validation, because the chances are, if someone else is doing it out there, then you know what I mean? It's the more unique your idea is, the better, the more successful you be.
Yep.
The other one is probably just embrace failures and learning and try. You learn as you go, and it's not easy. It's a hard thing to do.
To take action. To
take action, and the best way to learn is actually through learning, through doing.
Yeah, experiences.
And find people to surround yourself with that you can learn from.
Awesome.
And I think that's the biggest thing. I think, just getting around the right people, seeking out people that have done business that are a bit ahead of you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be in that exact right field. You can learn from anybody. And I think I've had to learn, because back then I thought, my lighting business, no one else is doing it. So how am I ever going to learn from anybody? Because no one's done it before.
Yeah.
But I've had to learn that, no, you can actually learn valuable lessons from anyone in business, because structurally, fundamentally, it's quite similar in scaling business.
Yeah.
And so
experience can be applied in many different contexts.
That's right.
This is a learning that I've had in my journey. So
I guess that's my main points of advice. And the other one is I encourage people to get themselves out there in front of the camera and share what you are doing and get on and content is huge, because I feel as though content is something that is free. You don't have to pay necessarily to advertise. You can create content and you can get the biggest cut through.
And it does force you to think about what you're selling, why it's good.
It teaches you to be a better communicator, and I think that's a real valuable skill.
No, it's awesome. So it's been awesome spending some time with you, Kenny. It's an amazing journey so far. I can't wait to see what comes next. So thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you for having me.